welcome to my YouTube channel Sabik and Rana. So I know it's been a long time since we've seen each other and since I have actually done a video for this channel. So I don't know if some of you guys followed, but I've posted two videos recently. I mean, not video, sounds of two interviews that I did with two WWE female superstars, Nia Jax and Charlotte. So for those of you who don't know, I work with a French wrestling website called Voxcatch, and I've been able and I've had the opportunity to do WWE interviews with them. So I got to talk to Nia Jax and Charlotte via a phone conference call. So you can find the videos on my YouTube channel, but I can put them on the description bar below if you want to check it out. So it's very short, but it's mostly about, these interviews were done before WrestleMania, so it's mostly about WrestleMania and intergender matches, because this was when Ronda Rousey came out, about the tag team championships as well that might be created. So it's interesting. I think you guys can like it, especially like Nia Jax one was very funny, so I hope you will like it. And also I've done an interview with Nixon, Newell and Dakota after NXT Paris, because NXT came in Paris. I've done it with Voxcatch as well, and the videos are posted in the Voxcatch YouTube channel, and I'll put the link also below, and Adam Cole also. But since this channel is about women's wrestling, I'd rather talk about women. So I felt like doing a video today about one subject that I feel like is very controversial in the women's wrestling world. Of course, there's one female wrestler that always made people talk about her, usually in a negative way, which is sad. But I really wanted to give my opinion on that superstar and just tell you how I felt about her. And of course, she wasn't a superstar. I mean, she was a diva back in the Divas day, and that woman is Kelly. And why I wanted to talk about her, yeah, I feel like, as I said, she's controversial in a lot of ways, in terms of her wrestling style, and I kind of wanted to be like the advocate of the devil, sort of. I wanted to talk about the Bella Twins also, but then I realized that my opinion was the main opinion, I feel like. So I'll probably do a video about the Bella Twins later, but I feel like everyone agrees on the Bella Twins, somehow. Whereas Kelly, she's still criticized and judged, and I feel like there's some things that need to be said. So, Kelly, yeah. I started watching her. She started when I started watching wrestling. So I kind of grew up with her. I started watching ECW and she was there. And of course, her debut at ECW wasn't the best. I mean, depending on what type of wrestling fan you are. But, you know, starting as a stripper, it's usually not, doesn't make you like, you know, you won't be like a wrestler, because you didn't start as a wrestler. Although Trish Stratus didn't start as a wrestler either and ended up being Trish Stratus. But I feel like that the way she started already like launched something with her. Like, people knew she wasn't here to be a wrestler, she was here to be the eye candy part of the show. So because of that, people didn't have respect for her, although it's sad. So of course her matches at ECW weren't the best, because she was not a wrestler and she was learning. But then when she was drafted to Raw, I feel like a lot of people tend to erase that part of her career, and that's when she started getting all of her moves and a wrestling style that was just fine. And yeah, so just to start, for me, I feel like why she's hated is for a lot of reasons. Obviously, because a lot of people say she can't run the ropes, she always butchers her move, blah blah blah. And I feel like people always focus on the negative part, and they always forget the context she came in, what she was given, how she evolved in the company. And I feel like people always have a tendency to erase her hard work, and that pisses me off, because she worked really hard and it's obvious that she worked hard. But first, I feel like why people hate her, because I feel like if Kelly started in another generation, if she was there in around the year 2000, let's say, or in the 90s, she would have been way more respected. I mean, Sunny is loved by wrestling fans. Like, Sunny is considered as a legend. Yet Sunny is not a wrestler. Sunny is an eye candy. Sable, she's loved by the fans. She was loved by the fans. Yet Sable is not the best wrestler at all. Tori Wilson was adored by the fan. Yet she didn't know how to wrestle as well, and people loved her. Stacy Keibler, same thing. People loved her because of her legs. She was not the best wrestler, and yet people still loved her. And I feel like if Kelly started around those years, she would have been loved, of course. But no, she started during the years where wrestling started to matter. Like, people didn't just care about the storyline. People didn't just care about the sex appeal. People were starting to care about what the girls were giving in terms of wrestling. And that's where it started becoming a bit frustrating, I think, for Kelly, because she was hired to be someone like Tori Wilson, someone like Stacy Keibler, and ended up having to have matches and prove people wrong. And I feel like she did really well. I mean, I loved Kelly's wrestling, and I felt, as a fan, and as a young fan especially, not just like the wrestling fan that I am right now, who is watching wrestling for more than just, the storylines or whatever. I loved her. I felt like she was doing her job very well. And I feel like people have a tendency to erase all the hard work that she's done. So as I said, when she started at Raw, she started having her gymnastic moves. She started having a wrestling style, something that was unique, her wrestling style. And I felt like she was doing very well. She was trying to have different moves, at her gymnastic skills, and she had very, very good matches. And I feel like people forget that she had very good tag team matches with Mickie James, against Beth Phoenix, against Victoria, and I'm just sad that they always forget about that. And then she was on SmackDown, and this is where she started getting comfortable with her wrestling skills, because she started, having a defined style and using the same moves and not trying to change her wrestling. So I feel like that's where people started to say, oh, Kelly's a bad wrestler. I feel like that's around those years, when she was drafted to SmackDown and then feuding with Lay Cool. And then things got worse when she was drafted again to Raw and was trying to become Divas champion. And I felt like people were so unfair to her, because the moves that she was doing backflips. They were amazing. Like, as a kid, you watch Kelly and you just see everything that she did and you were like, that's amazing. I wish I could do that. And honestly, I feel like maybe not every man can do what she did, because she was very athletic. And I feel like people were just like picking on her on stuffs where she was trying to do her best to improve her wrestling skills and to please people. And that pisses me off, because she was trying to do something different in the ring, because she knew she wasn't good in the basic stuffs. So here we have a girl that didn't have the chance to train for a long time, to be in OVW for a long time. She was thrown directly on the road. She didn't have time to train, learn the bases very well, like girls do today with the Performance Center. So she had to learn by herself bases that take months or years to be done perfectly. And yet she had to find a wrestling style, find a personality, find a gimmick, find something when she didn't have any training. And people forget that. People forget that Kelly was just thrown on the road, thrown on the ring without having any experience in the wrestling business. And she was very young. She started at 19. Like, how can you just tell a 19 years old, hey, go on the road and learn how to wrestle by yourself without screwing some things up? And people were very, very tough on her, and people kept saying, she doesn't know how to run the ropes. Well, okay. Well, she knows how to do other things way better than some guys ever will. And honestly, I feel like if you think about it, Kelly tried and did her job very well. Like, she was just trying to entertain people, trying to find a personality, and she had a natural charisma. Although, like, you could say anything you want about her mix skills, although I feel like she didn't have the chance to use the microphone a lot. Um, she had charisma. When she came down the ring, people were cheering for her. If there was a reason why Kelly got a pop, it's because she had a natural charisma. And also, like I said, she didn't have the chance to train, and I feel like that's something we should always remember, because today, of course, women have the chance to train, go at the performance center, they have time to train. You know, like Marie's, the Bella twins, they all got like 2 years in developmental, and Kelly didn't have that. Kelly had to go back to developmental. She said that during an episode of Tough Enough. She said, I have to go back to developmental in order to practice a little bit with the girls. She was going to FCW to practice with the other girls to learn some stuff as well, because she always wanted to learn. And people always forgot about that. And WWE didn't give a chance to Kelly. Like, they didn't give her the time that she needed on the microphone, the time that she needed in the ring. Like, she's had amazing long matches with Beth Phoenix, for example, and these matches were very good. She's always had great matches with Beth Phoenix. She also had a great match with Gail Kim once. I mean, when you gave her the time and when you gave her the right opponent, she was always trying to shine and trying to improve and do something good. And yet, no, the WWE always gave her 2-minute matches to just, do a sting face and leave. And those girls during Kelly's time didn't have the chance to shine or show anyone what they could do. And they did show it sometime, but people don't remember it. They always remember the bad things, the negative things that they did, and people will never say, oh, Kelly had great matches against Beth Phoenix. Kelly had a great feud against Beth Phoenix. People will never tell you that, because people will always remember that, oh, Kelly didn't know how to run the ropes, and they will always show you that one gif where she runs. And why? I mean, if I had something to say to finish this video, and if Kelly ever watches this video, which I don't think she will, I feel like I have a lot of respect for Kelly and what she did in the ring and what she did in the WWE, because she came very young, didn't have any chance to train, and yet became one hell of a superstar, tried to entertain people each and every week, and stayed in the WWE for 6 years, despite being buried by the entire internet wrestling fans. And I'm glad that she's had the fan base that she's had. I'm glad that, people were supporting her and will always behind her. And I'm glad that she had, doesn't matter what was their age or if they were like hardcore wrestling fan or not. That doesn't matter. I'm just glad that she was able to change some people's life and was able to entertain people. Because at the end of the day, Kelly should be proud of her. Has been an icon for a generation of wrestling fans, and she has been an icon to me. Like I said, I grew up watching her, and honestly, I just hope that Kelly will come back to the WWE, because I feel like she still has a lot to prove. And if you give her just a little time in the performance center and just let her come back in the ring and let her just have one more run, I am pretty sure she can surprise everyone and just shine like she never shined before. So that's it. I think I've talked for 15 minutes, which is a lot, but yeah, that's basically it. Just tell me what you think of what I've just said, and please don't be like judgmental or anything, because I don't want that channel to be judgmental. I want that channel to be positive, and just if it has critics, I want them to be positive and not just be about Kelly always butches or whatever. I want something constructive. And I hope I will see you soon. Bye!